welcome everyone to Nerd TV for an RSR Next Generation Cup Series race here at the 2.5 mile Daytona International Speedway, where the RSR boys are going to tackle 80 laps here tonight at the nighttime, where nighttime is the right time here. We're getting close to playoff season. So Daytona thrown in the mix. It should be a great one here. Temperature-wise, it is fantastic. There is not a hurricane lurking at this virtual track, so no worries there. 79 degrees on the track, 77 in the skies, so very cool. 57% humidity, that's more accurate than what we saw yesterday. Partly cloudy and no wind virtually, so weather is not going to play any type of factor here tonight. My name is Jeremy Stanley, aka Jay Stan or Jay Swifty, wherever you find me on the socials. And then Jason Rockefeller to my right-hand side. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Missed Watkins Glen last week. I heard that race was pretty much Ryan Beans to lose, and he ended up winning that race. But some chaos there after that restart heading into turn one for about, I want to say you guys said it was about like 2 laps or so. So I heard it was an interesting one to say the least. Richie Coy made his RSR debut, I believe it was as well. He came home top 3. And here we are, Daytona International Speedway. Not the cutoff race here before the playoffs for these guys. Still 4 more races to go, starting with tonight with Daytona and the next week with Darlington before they do reach that round of 16. So it's going to be interesting. The Cup cars played a they raced a very good race last night for the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. So it's probably going to be the exact same here tonight for the RSR Next Gen Cup guys.
I'm expecting things to get a little more chaotic here. I know FTSR, the first half is usually pretty laid back, but these RSR Next Gen boys, I think we're in for a treat here tonight. And yeah, you missed a hell of a show last week at Watkins Glen. Things get strung out at road courses, we all know that. But for some reason, inside that top 10 range, like there was just, at one point, I think there was like 3 or 4 different wrecks in 2 laps. And it was just, Dustin flipping cameras left and right. And so it was a very, very fun, entertaining Watkins Glen. And I think we're going to see something similar as Jason just dips out of his camera for no reason there. What's up, man? For this race, it's going to be a great time. Stage break's going to be at lap 25. The race is over at 80 laps complete. So if you tuned in yesterday, it's the same exact setup on that notion. We got down to 1 minute left here in qualifying. Looks like at the moment, Alexander Hodge, the number 11, is holding the fastest time at a 49.5. Rusty Modesty, second place at a 49.593. So a couple very similar lap times. It is open setups, but at the same token, it's Daytona. So, I mean, their car's going to be very similar overall here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and here's the thing, too. A couple guys to look at here tonight coming in. I mean, first off, the Zab Motorsport drivers of Rusty Modesty and Matt Hayden, they finished in the top 5 back in Atlanta. And they were running up at the front most of the time all night long for the last super speedway type track that we raced at. Adam Boughton, he's another guy who could very well break through. I mean, he was up at the front pretty much leading, if not top 3 to top 5 all night back in Atlanta. Had some contact late in the race, got all the way to the back, managed to keep it on the apron after some contact into turn 3, and somehow, some way was able to rally back for a 7th place finish. There's a lot of guys who could win tonight, but I think if I'm going to put, just a bet on one guy, I think Adam Boughton gets it done tonight in that number 10 Caterpillar car.
I think we're going to see back-to-back super speedway winners. I'm going to go for Nathan Campbell there in the 45. I think he's going to have a solid chance here this evening. But now I was corrected. My producer Dustin said it is a fixed setup race, so I apologize on that. But we're going to take our faces off your guys' screen. We're going to go trackside here as these guys are lining up on pit road for these 80 laps here at Daytona. Alexander Hodge does complete qualifying P1, so he will take the pole here this evening. Rusty Modesty in the 6th will start P2. Number 5, Matt Hayden's going to start in 3rd place. Jerry Culver in that 13 will be starting in 4th. Ryan Bean, last week's winner, will be starting in 5th place. Nathan Campbell, his teammate to his outside, will be starting in 6th. Nolan Potter, 34, also teammates, going to be starting in 7th. Adam Boughton in the 10. Is going to be 8th, 9th place, Kevin Ruff in the 99, and 10th place on the grid, number 3, Bob Fitzpatrick Jr.
Top 20 you got tonight here in 11th. You got Harold Rothery there in the number 7 Toyota machine. 12th, you got Richie Coy trying to make his second debut a win here tonight at Daytona. 13th goes to Brock Potter. 14th, Rob Fitzpatrick Sr. 15th, James Catrone. 16th, Zach Schrittenthal. 17th is Stephen Rasick. 18th, Harold Watkins. 19th, Clip Moda. And 20th place, Alonzo King Jr. in the number 80.
And to round out the rest of the field, 21st on back did not qualify, so they will be sorted in virtue of their I rating here on the iRacing platform. So Blake Howell, 21st. Stan Carnathan, 22nd. Kevin Zabladil in 23rd. 24th will be the 57, Brian Fine. 25th, 68 of Andrew Little. 26th place will be Kane Lee. 27th, Michael Sheffield. 28th will be Tony Ludi. 29th, Richard Gonzalez. 30th place, Matt Upbrook. 31st, Steve Potter. 32nd, James Fitzmaurice. 33rd, Mark Thibodeau. And the 34th place car on tonight's grid here for the Nerditudes 200 is going to be the number 24 of Michael Carter. And these guys are going to take one pace lap around this 2.5 mile track. And then we are going to have a great race for you here this evening.
Interesting one to say the least. Last night we saw obviously the not the Martin Sports, but the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series guys. They took on the Daytona International Speedway for their cutoff race. We also saw on Wednesday night the Martin Sports Truck Series guys did as well. These RSR guys tonight, man, it's going to be a fight, but there's not nearly as much stress per se because, Jeremy, this race is not their cutoff race. Again, like I stated during pre-race before they took off for qualifying, this is only, when it comes to the races left, this is the fourth race remaining before the playoffs do start. Next week, obviously, being Darlington. So this doesn't have nearly as much stress as we're used to nowadays in the NASCAR world and sim world for league racing as well. But nevertheless, this is still a huge opportunity for a guy to, win and make it into the playoffs. And also, not only that, but steal something away from somebody. Like we've seen the dominance this season from Nate Campbell, from Matt Hayden, from Ryan Bean. Maybe somebody else can come out of the woodwork and possibly just win one of these things here tonight for sure.
Yeah, 100% there. And quickly jump into the chats before we go. Green Flag Race and Robert Geary on Facebook saying, so glad to see Blaney Precept, which I think you meant Priest, and others as well. Kudos to NASCAR. Yeah, glad to see them doing well. Yeah, there is correction. I see that there too. And then jumping over to the YouTube chats, my three sons saying, let's go Jerry Culver, cheering him on every single week. And then Sheila Geary saying, let's go Blake Howell in the number 26. So cheerleaders are out here. Appreciate the support here in the chats. Pace truck is down and green flag is out. The Nerditudes 200 is officially underway, and it looks like a clean start throughout the entire field. And the inside lane is already starting to find its way there. We see the 45 of Nathan Campbell. He jumps to the bottom there to help some of his teammates there. So the numbers game early for turn number 1, going to be on the inside.
Alexander Hodge leading him down through turns 1 and 2. Jump right down to the bottom. Matt Hayden, Ryan Bean, they're all lined up. You see Nate Campbell and Tell behind them, 4th and bottom on the line. These first few laps, it's just going to be about getting going, figuring out, and Rusty Modesty almost turned right in front of the field. I believe that was Jerry Culver nearly turning him around. You got to be careful, Jeremy, with giving the push, especially on that right rear and left rear here tonight.
And you can see that 6 started second place. He's going to cross the line probably around 8th or so here. 3 wide momentarily. Adam Boughton in the 10. Quickly goes back to the top 2 by 2 once more. At the line this time, Alexander holds the lead by 3/100ths of a second over Ryan Bean, who's already up 3 positions. And we got a little issue there during turn number 1. Number 2 is Zach. Looks like he had a little messed up there with the number 21 of Stephen Rasick. They get it backed up, gathered, and back to 2 by 2 down the backstretch.
2 by 2 they go. Ryan Bean being pushed by his teammate Nate Campbell, who won the last Super Speedway race back at Atlanta over his teammate of Ryan Bean. In fact, that was Nate's only win of the 2023 Part 2 season so far. Hodge, though, able to go back out front here off turn number 4. He's got help on the bottom for Matt Hayden and also Kevin Ruff as they head through the tri-oval to complete lap number 2.
Ryan McCall on Facebook saying, let's go Aeon drivers. Some more cheerleading on for all the teams out here. So once again, appreciate the support here and a pretty good clean start here through the first 2 laps here for the Nerditudes 200, coming off turn number 2, the number 28 of Ryan Bean, where he has found his car so often here in 2023. He won down the back straightaway.
He's found himself P1 most of the time here. Likely he did last week, Jeremy. 4 wins now on the 2023 Part 2 season, trying to make it 5 here this weekend at the Daytona International Speedway. But it's going to be very hard because not only has he been the dominant car, this team won the last Super Speedway race, but he's versing 33 other drivers who are very hungry for a win. Talked about earlier the possibility of somebody breaking through and pointing their way into the playoffs with a clutch win at Daytona with only 4 races remaining before the playoffs do in fact start. So we'll have to see. I mean, we talked about it before too. Rusty Modesty, Adam Boughton there in the number 10 machine. There's a lot of guys out here, Jeremy, who could very well win this race in case any kind of controversy were to happen later on in this race.
There's a lot of people that are not locked in, with Ryan Bean hogging up all the wins so far. He's got 4 of the 7 completed races of this season, right? And going through these points here, just listen to how close this is. Like 8th place and 9th place, they're only like 1 point back of the guy in front of them. And then it's -4, -4, -2, -2, -12, -4. So they're all really grouped up, and that's right to about 16th, 17th spot right now. So Daytona, if you have 1 wreck and you're sitting 13th in points, you could be sitting back there in 18th or 19th before this race is over. So you kind of have to just ride along and try to survive this race. If you know you're like 12th or 13th in points, you cannot push the issue, put your car in a weird predicament that's going to put you out of this race, because you're going to be climbing the hill instead of trying to, lock yourself in for these final few races.
Yeah, and just like all Daytona races too, we've talked about all night long, it's just you have to be patient. We've talked about it now from the last 2 Daytona races that we've called here, Jeremy, within the last week or so, is that patience is key. You have to be patient, and you can't get impatient, because the second you get impatient, all the guys around you who have patience, they're going to start going out of whack and going, wait a minute, this guy's going out of line. Now we're going to try to do something. Next thing you know, not everybody's on the same page, and then you have multiple drivers trying to do multiple different strategies, not on pit road, not under caution, but on the racetrack at 200 miles an hour, and that can become a problem here later on in this race.
Yeah, 100% there. Just kind of ride along here. Remember, stage break is at lap 25, so there's really no reason to push the issue because you're guaranteed a caution. So why put yourself 3 wide when you're going to be regrouping and get back up anyway? So there's only been 2 leaders so far through the first 6 laps of this event. Ryan Bean still leads the way over the number 11 of Alexander Hodge, who led the opening 2 or 3 laps, and it's been the 28 from this point forward. He's got his teammates on the outside. They're all behind him, so getting all the support possible here. And number 5, Matt Hayden's really trying to push the 11 as much as he can, which he's doing a great job, with Kevin Ruff behind him and then the 7 of Harold Rothery. But it's just the teamwork. They're over there at Stealth Motorsports right now, and the first 3 cars on this upper side. As we go 3 wide, 1 car in the wall here. Looks like the 23. Oh, and Alexander Little, or Andrew Little rather, hard into the wall. Got 4, 5, 6 cars and more pile in here through turns 3 and 4. Caution is out for the first time. Presented by Roasted Gems Copy.
It's going to be interesting to see what happened right there. Obviously, looking at the TV monitor currently, no camera angle currently on it, so we'll get a replay here in just a second. But I mean, just from the the looks of it too, Jeremy, and what you were calling out, you saw guys going 3 wide, and oh boy, here's the aftermath. Matt, oh my goodness, the 26 lifted up off the ground. That's Blake Howell, who coming into tonight was 3rd in the season 2 points, or the season part 2 season. You see right there, just to check up, 23 goes into the wall there. That's Harold Watkins, who is another driver battling into the points in the top 5 coming into tonight, currently 5th. So guys up at the front in points having issues here tonight. Take another look. You're seeing the 16 machine right there. That is Matt Upbrook, and unfortunately just gets collected. It all started with the 23 Jeremy just getting into the wall, and wow, that 26 car took off, similar to what Ryan Preece did there just on Saturday night. But thankfully that 26 car was able to get back on the ground, did not start rolling over. Man, the early trouble on here at Daytona.
After we watched a couple more views here, he wasn't a part of the wreck, but I am just completely amazed of how the 17 of Kevin Zabudil, if we can get an onboard of his car all the way back in turn 2, I'm not sure if that's possible. But I want to just show you guys how the 17 was able to avoid this wreck, not driving through it, but the amount of speed he carried from Brian Fine's bumper off of turn 2. Here we go. Watch how many cars he passes on the outs or inside the middle lane here. Well, this is actually coming off of turn 4, the lap prior to the wreck, I believe. So let's see if we get a whole lap here. I'm just like, he passed so many cars up the middle, and then when he got to turn 3, he was just clear to that wreck. He passed the 23, who was a part of that wreck right before he started wrecking. So, and I think this was after they're starting to slow down here, but if we can get that, that'd be cool. If not, no worries. I was just really surprised that Kevin Zabadil was able to make some moves like that and get himself in position.
You're looking at it right now. Just look at him right now, flying up through this field currently. And you can see it right here as we're rewinding back. Look at the momentum just from rewinding. Watch this. Coming off turn number 2, he's on the inside of Harold Watkins. And right now, from this point, he's behind the 21 of Steven Rasick down the back straightaway. Look at this car's got to be going at least 205 miles an hour once he heads down this back straightaway. I would not be shocked if it were more. He passes not 1, not 2, but 3, 4 rows of cars practically down the back straightaway. And then all of a sudden, everything starts ensuing behind him. That 17 car might be one to be very aggressive early on and try to make some passes like you saw right there.
I have not seen that in the next gen car here at Daytona in the virtual side of this world of racing. So to see that, that's got to be something in the notebook he's got to write down and go, you know what, we can utilize that same move to be able to run up the middle where you think that's the sucker hole, but he completely flipped that script and said, you know what, that's going to be my zoom hole here and just go through the pack. And that was pretty impressive stuff there. But yeah, there's about 7 cars involved in this one. Heavy damage early on for a lot of guys. I saw a bumper clip come off a car. I think that might have been the 23 or the 68, not entirely sure, but you know, you got a lot of time to get these things repaired, though. It is Daytona. We do have a stage break coming up, you know, in the next 10 laps or so. So get your stuff repaired while you can.
Yeah, and there's just so much obviously going on here at Daytona. Yeah, you never know when something's going to happen. We talk about all the time here at Daytona is the feeling of that unpredictability. When will something happen? Will anything happen? I mean, we've had races here where you just don't see anything happen until the very last lap. We've seen instances where we've seen something happen on, you know, the very beginning of the race. Wow, what a hit right there to that 26 car. Of Blake Howell, and I'm not too sure who that was right there. That was Richard Gonzalez in the number 9 car. Look at this hit right here. All of a sudden, talk about seeing your life flash before your eyes. Bam! Right there. Car lifted up off the ground. Man. That 9 Fanatec machine is absolutely destroyed. There's the 94 of Steve Potter. He's involved, and they're going to go into the wall. And man, that 9 almost flipped right over going up the banking there from the transition. But Jeremy, this is the thing, man. There's just so much unpredictability when you come to racetracks like this.
I didn't realize how much air that 26 caught until we saw that clip there. I know we saw it from the overhead view, but coming up from a roof camera, really impressive hit right there. Before we go back to green flag, going to shout out the series sponsor here, Best One Tire and Service. If you're looking for a one-stop automotive repair and tire shop, Best One Tire and Service helps you get new tires, tire repairs, and auto service you need from the people you can trust. Check out where their nearest location is to you by visiting www.bestonetire.com. And these guys have a quarter of a track left to go before we're going to go back to green flag. Going to resume this race on lap 11. So it'll be a 15-lap little stint here before we see stage caution. And right now the outside, or the front row rather, it's going to be the same exact cars that we left off with before the caution flag flew. Number 11 of Alexander Hodge will be leading the field to this green flag once more. Green flag is out, and a much better jump here from the 11. Alexander Hodge shoots to about a car and a half length advantage over the 28, but you can't leave the bottom cars like that because you're going to see the 28 and the 45 right behind, or right toe and toe with each other here. They're going to quickly go by the 11 and 5 here because of that draft momentum.
Yeah, and they seem to be a lot more hooked up than these guys on the bottom, but everybody becomes disconnected this time by off turn number 2. In fact, there goes the 28 car right to the lead. Ryan Bean driving that Sony Toyota Camry, throwing it back to maybe, I believe, Ryan Newman back when he drove that number 12 Sony machine for Roger Penske in the early 2000s. Beautiful scheme. Always loved the Sony cars anytime they were ran by Ryan Newman. But hey, maybe if we could talk to him, maybe I'll ask him that question if that's what the paint scheme is inspired off of that scheme that he's running here tonight. But this time by the line, he'll lead that time by, still getting one heck of a push from his teammate Nate Campbell heading into one.
There you go there. And just an update on that wreck from a few laps prior. Andrew Little, the 68 involved. 32 minutes of required repairs, so basically count that car out. And then Blake Howell, the car who had all four wheels off the ground, 16 minutes required for that guy.
Big crash. Big crash. Back straightaway. We got one on the wall hard there on the back straightaway. Saw one car shoot out of line and go slamming into the wall. I believe that could have been the 94 of Steve Potter off turn number 2, Jeremy. We were sitting here talking, having a good time. All of a sudden, saw one car get turned head on into the outside wall, and that's going to bring out this second Roasted Gems Coffee caution flag of the night here at Daytona.
Tony Ludi quickly on the mic says, I apologize for that. Just goes to the outside. I guess too much side draft and right hooks the 94 right into the wall. That was Steve Potter there. And it sent him hard into the outside wall right off the exit there of turn number 2, and quickly brings up that second caution. Here's another angle from that wreck. You see the 92's involved. Looks like the 23 barely escapes. A couple other guys shoot down to the bottom to avoid. So 4 cars, I think, in total involved in the second wreck here.
Yeah, that 94, man, when he got turned into the wall, that looked very similar to when Chase Elliott intentionally wrecked Denny Hamlin back at the Coca-Cola 600 earlier this year. You saw the 94 car just get up off the ground, and it quickly sat itself back down. But that front of the nose of the car absorbed all that impact. Same with the safer barrier. And that 94 is absolutely destroyed, man. So many cars in the back that were involved in that first wreck earlier on, Jeremy. They're involved here again in the second one.
As these guys are going to be kind of resetting for the second restart of the race here, we're going to go to a quick picture-in-picture commercial break. Be back with you guys shortly. And back to full screen coverage here as we have just less than one lap left before we're going to go back to green flag. And this time it is a different front row here. It's going to be Stealth Motorsports number 28, Ryan Bean, and his teammate right to his outside, Nathan Campbell. We'll be taking this field back to the green flag. When we hit green flag, it's not going to be 15 laps to the finish. It's going to be 10. So 10 laps, and then we'll see stage break if these guys can make it 10 solid laps around this track here. But a very eventful start to this race, Jason.
Yeah, definitely way different, Jeremy, than what we saw in last night's Mach 1 Performance Cup Series for the FTSR boys. And, and if there's one guy in here who knew how that went, it was Richie Coy compared to us. Because, yeah, he didn't race, obviously, due to some family obligations going on. But here he is tonight. He learned probably watching that race. And he's ran enough Daytona and Super Speedway races all in all to be able, to really realize what's going on in the draft, how these cars react on track. So the Haskell, New Jersey native, he's going to try his best to probably get up to the front. I know he likes to try to keep it cool and calm. Saw it Michigan earlier this year for FTSR. He didn't really like to get up toward the front, got involved in some stuff. We'll have to see how Richie Coy makes his way up through the field.
Yeah, I mean, he did really well there at Watkins Glen for his debut last week, and, that's a whole different beast here tonight. He's used to running the open setup stuff, fixed setups here tonight, so have no idea how the 19's going to do, but green flag is out. The 28 gets an excellent start over his teammate, and two plan jumps right up to the top with the 34 of Nolan Potter and the 45 of Nathan Campbell, and that team, Stealth Motorsports, is going to lead the charge once again on the top side of the track. They're going to bring the number 6 of Rusty Modesty with them, and also the number 4 as well of Brock Potter. So strong combination of drivers right here up on the top. It kind of temporarily broke away the bottom, but they have now formed back up. And quickly, we have two different packs here. That second pack is tailing by almost a second.
Really did not get a very good start there, Jeremy, out of the restart zone. And currently, that's being led by the 11. I want to say that's the 11. That's the 80 of Alonzo King. Oh, we got some contact right up ahead of them. Rob Fitzpatrick Jr. Don't know what happened to him, and possibly Kevin Zabaldil, but you saw the 3 car right there just on the left side of the frame. Kind of really darted right below that double yellow line. Remember, that is a no passing zone here, even on iRacing. In the official stuff, it's legal to go down there, but you can protest against it. Most league officials, though, do regulate that you are not allowed to go down there, and that is still the rule here for these RSR boys with some very, very aggressive driving early on, and we're not even done with stage 1 yet.
Very aggressive bump drafting there. Man, the 80 Alonzo King shoved Kevin Zabaldil directly on the back bumper of the 13 Jerry Culver. Jerry Culver's car got upset. He came on the radio and basically said, "What was that?" And I'm surprised they didn't turn each other. Then, yeah, that last lap. Oops, Kevin Zabaldil on the 17.
He's trying it again.
We saw this once before. He's going to try to do it, but this time he does not have the help from Brian Fine behind him. And right now, that's going to quickly dissipate. There he goes, back around or behind Alonzo, the 27, the 32, the 82, the 21 and more. So this time, scratch that out. That was a one-time showing there up the middle. Not going to work as he continues to fall back.
He's definitely one of the most aggressive drivers that we've seen here in these first 18 laps. But the one thing that I want to point out, if you are that 17 of Kevin Zabaldil, you don't have help like that. You get so far out there like he did that first time, and now that second time, but ultimately the second time did not pay off for him, is you better best dang pray that those guys on the bottom do not pop off that double yellow line and come up into your racing line, create a wreck, because next thing you know, not only did you start something that you didn't need to do, but now you're wrecking half the field. So if Kevin Zabaldil wants to try to get to the front, I think he wants to be a little bit more patient, but he's definitely giving me big Joey Logano vibes, always trying to get to the front. Seen that a lot with Chase Elliott, too, here at these super speedways. So Kevin Zabaldil, man on a mission here tonight.
And I really appreciate how Kevin is trying to be aggressive.
There we go!
He just wrecked the person that helped him last time. The 57, Brian Fine, gets turned, straightens it out. But, man, more contact here with the 57, Brian, as he drops back to the tail end of the field. Oh, and we got another wreck. Big one. Jerry Culver involved, James Catrone, and also the 80 of Alonzo King. Ooh. And then it looks like one other car, I think the 24, slams into them. That's being Michael Carter. So the caution's out for the third time, presented by Rosa Gems Coffee. And, yeah, that was just a couple of bumps really gone wrong to set this one off.
And that really wasn't started from what Kevin Zabaldil there coming into the corner. That unfortunately, oh my goodness, what a hit there to the outside for Alonzo King and Jerry Culver. But we'll have to rewind that back like the VCR tape that this replay looks like here.
Man,
I don't know what happened. I believe maybe the three just gave a really
yeah,
bad bump.
it really
They just
was. Look at
stack
it.
up. Oh, okay. So the 13 right there of Jerry Culver started to get out of line, and when the three was getting to his rear bumper, it's kind of like they just hooked very, very bad. Not really anybody's fault. I mean, the three could have lifted a little bit, but I don't think he expected what he was seeing out of that front windshield to happen. And the 13 ultimately just coming back up the racetrack, and then the three was trying to get back to his bumper. And unfortunately, here it is. Great camera angle. You're going to see the 13 right here kind of dip below a little bit, but the three car is really just holding his line. Meanwhile, the 7 and 13 in front of him, they're not. And the three doesn't have a lot of time to lift because, everything happens so quickly here. And unfortunately, starts a massive wreck. There's the 38 machine of James Catrone. He's involved in this one. One of the guys who finished in the top 5 last week at Watkins Glen. Lots of heavy hitters involved here in this third wreck of the night, Jeremy.
I'm gonna make our producer Dustin go back to work once more here. I want to ride with the roof or the cockpit camera, helmet camera of the 38 James Catrone. I have never seen a car do a 360 so fast in my life. He got hooked in the left rear, and how fast he whipped his car around was quite impressive. We can get that in real time. That would be awesome to watch. But yeah, this took about 5 cars, 6 cars with more damage now. That's 3 wrecks before even the first stage in. So this is pretty impressive stuff. We go to the Nerd TV replay, and here it is. If we can go to normal speed, it really just shows you how fast he whips around here, just so fast. And then look, he's already going back straight with a little bit of wall help. But man, that was so quick. He was able to whip around.
Yeah, he's like Michael McDowell back at Bristol Dirt. He didn't just do it once, did it twice. So maybe 2 times could be the charm for James Catrone tonight, but hopefully he doesn't have to go through that again. But right there, that wreck is just a product of this super speedway racing here, Jeremy. We saw that 3 machine close up very, very quickly to the back bumper of that 7 and 16. Ultimately, the 7 and 16 kind of got out of line a little bit because the 3 was still pretty even with the cars that were 3 cars up ahead. If you look back at the replay and look from his hood camera that we were on, that 3 car was lined up with everybody. It's just the 713 kind of shifted down a little bit, and the 3 really didn't have any time to react. So nothing really he could do, nothing of Jerry Culver's fault, nothing of the 3 car's fault of Bob Fitzpatrick Jr., just a product ultimately of this super speedway type racing.
Jumping over to the YouTube chats, I see my 3 sons very vocal about those turn of events there. Patience, Zabladil, and then crap. He was pushed, and then an angry face because he was cheering on Jerry Culver, and of course he was tagged by the 3 there as they just kind of met up at the wrong place, wrong time right before the trial will start, and brought out that 3rd caution presented by Roast Jim's Coffee. So I think this is going to be one really short stint before we go back, or to end the stage rather. So pace truck lights are out. They're going to be resuming this race on lap 23. It's going to be a 2-lap shootout, so essentially a green-white checker almost to end this first stage as we're on board. The number 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick. And we're going to see exactly what happened here. The 13 makes the cut down low. And as you said, he comes up to make the push. Now the cars are not aligned. And then the 13 just kind of came back up. At the same token, the 3 was coming down. So they're going for the same exact real estate. And that's what kind of set things off.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, there's nothing that you can ultimately do about that. Everything is happening in split seconds, basically in the blink of an eye here at Daytona. So you do not have a lot of time to react to something like that. And again, nothing of fault on Fitzpatrick or Culver by any means. That was simply just a racing deal, and one guy got the bad end of it. And now you see Bob Fitzpatrick Jr., he's up here at the front of the field, going to be restarting on the outside lane here for this restart. So we're going to have to see how he does. Both leader Alexander Hodge did not pit, and that 3 machine. Everybody else, though, came into the pit to take some fuel and I believe some tires because they're going to stay out here when they do have that stage caution.
There's another couple cars that did not pit. Look who's in row number 2, the number 1 of Michael Sheffield up from 27th to 5th. And then also that 19, Richie Coy, we talked about him. He did not pit, so he's going to come from 12th to 4th. Well, he was back there probably 20th or so right when that caution came out. So he's going to be restarting on road number 2 on the outside. I know those guys came down pit road to shortcut the stint here to end stage. So we're going to see the number 1, the number 19, the number 3. These guys will be pitting here in just a couple laps when they go back to caution once more. But here we go. Pace truck is down. There's going to be 2 laps to go on this really short stint here. Green flag is out. The 11 gets a 2-car length advantage over the number 82 here. And really just a big breakaway for the leaders. Really surprised. I think someone might have missed a shift there. Really scattered some things up. And quickly, we're going to see this mid-pack. Watch them in 2 laps. They're going to zoom past these guys and maybe take over that top spot.
Yeah, we'll have to see here because those guys all up at the front, they got very, very connected, and they just shot out of the cannon on that restart. You see right now, here's Ryan Bean, the dominator of RSR, and then he's pushing the dominator of FTSR, Richie Coy. They're working up on that top side, but here comes Michael Sheffield. He's going to have a huge run. The 28 is going to be able to check up the field. Here comes the 45 of Nathan Campbell, puts it 3 wide through the middle, trying to get to the back bumper of his Stealth Motorsports teammate. 1 lap to go in the stage.
34, Nolan Potter jumps up top in front of the 19 of Richie Coy to try to get that run moment. And I saw the 45. Yeah, he went 3 wide to get himself alongside his teammate. And now he's going to pass his teammate on the bottom. Said, you know what? I'm not going to work with you. I think this lower lane is going to be the way to be here for the final lap in this stage here. Outside, no momentum whatsoever. So 11 of Alexander Hodge, 82 of Stan Carnathan leading the pack here, headed to turn number 3. Lots of shoves given by the 82 to the number 11. Will one of these guys jump out? Or are they going to stay single file? It's going to be answered right here coming off of turn number 4. Everyone staying in line on the bottom. And that's exactly how they're going to finish. Alexander Hodge wins the stage.
Right here again, we just like last night, Jeremy, we got confused.
Oh, I did it again.
We did it again, but this time we both did it. So now this is the last lap here. Will Richie Coy be able to give that number 4 machine, that 84, I believe it is, right there, up towards the front? 34 there of Nolan Potter down this back straightaway for the last time in this stage. And so far, Stan Carnathan all over the back bumper of Alexander Hodge for the final time in 3 and 4 of the stage.
We got to build the hype up once more for the final time now in the stage. Off corner exit 4. Well, I guess you could just repeat last lap. The same exact story, the same exact positions. Nothing changed. Now, the number 11 of Alexander Hodge will take the stage break there, but they're staying green. I'm not sure. They had pits closed and reopened, but we're going to stay green here, it looks like, this time around. Not sure what the call is. I thought we were definitely going to get that caution break, but maybe we got 1 extra lap. Who knows? But right now, still the inside is the way to go. The first 5 cars are single file there. The outside with the 34, Nolan Potter, just cannot get that momentum rolling. Richie Coy's doing everything, trying to bump him. And, of course, you got the really fast number 28, Ryan Bean. He's trying everything they can. It's just there's just not enough cars there on the top to get this high side rolling.
Yeah, and I wonder, Jeremy, if maybe the admins decided to make a decision with that last caution that happened, if that was the stage, and then they were just like, we're just going to go racing. I mean, I don't understand why you would change up the format possibly just because it kind of throws everybody off balance and off strategy. But, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, now we're 2 laps after the fact we were supposed to get that caution, and now we're on lap 27. I don't see a caution coming out possibly anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it looks like. I'm not in the admin box, right? But I did see their admin commands in the chat say pit entry closed, and that was right at the green flag marker. So I thought for sure there was going to be a caution, and then it said reopened. They had been reopened. So I'm not sure what that was. Maybe one of the drivers that we talked to in the post race can kind of key us in on what's going on there. But we're going to stay green. I guess that was the stage at the caution there, which I do believe was still led by the 11. You can correct me if I'm wrong there. No, actually it was the number 28, I think. So either way, the outside is starting to move up a little bit. They finally got to the outside of the number 1, Michael Sheffield. That's going to put the 34, Nolan Potter, in 4th place at the moment. Outside numbers are picking up once more as a couple guys move to the top here. It's a little more equal here. And now no one's almost to the back bumper of the number 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick going through 3 and 4.
So I just got a little bit of insider info here from one of the drivers who was very fast earlier on. Mr. Kevin Zabadil gave us the information that the lap 20 yellow for that third caution was, in fact, the stage ending. So we are now in the second portion, the back end, you could say, even though we're not even halfway through yet with this race, Jeremy. So this kind of throws a monkey wrench into this race for all these drivers who were planning on possibly making some other adjustments, making some different strategy calls here. And now the fact that these guys didn't get a yellow at the time they were supposed to, this is just going to kind of throw these guys for a loop here.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the 19. I'm thinking of the number 3, the number 1. Those guys who stayed out on that last one, they're obviously now a few laps shy compared to the rest of the field. So I would think at this point, if it does stay green, which has not told us it will, but if it does and they have to pit under green flag conditions, those guys I would imagine are need to go, hey, we need to group this thing up together unless we find a group that's going to short pit, because they're going to be against them, the numbers there.
We saw last night with the 100% fuel load, obviously, that these guys have, and what the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series did last night. They did, in fact, have green flag pit stops there at the end. Remember, we pitted at lap 25, and then we came out of the pits, and then took the green flag, and then they ran and ran and ran. We didn't have one yellow there later on in that second half of the race. So, what that ultimately led to was green flag pit stops coming out, and then we resumed with everybody getting back on track around 14 laps to go. So when you look at it in hindsight, these guys are probably going to be able to go about 30 laps, 35 laps to distance, I could imagine, possibly. Again, I'm no math guy, I'm no crew chief, but just from estimation of last night, I think these guys are probably going to be pitting here from when they last pitted in about 35 to 30 laps.
That's good things to notate there, and hopefully, if they do go green flag pit stops, we don't see the chaos that we saw last night, where we saw 2 different incidents where teammates wrecked each other right at pit entrance. One actually missed the stop entirely, went through the grass, came back through across pit road, and clipped someone in the right rear. So hopefully we don't see that here this evening as they're coming out of turn number 4, crossing the line now this time to complete lap number 31. So we're getting pretty close to stage break here. And do a quick shout out to one of our partners here from the Nerditude side. It's going to be Dusty Pete's Gifts and Collectibles, a hobby shop with a whole lot more. They're based out of New York, and Dusty Pete's is your one-stop shop for many things nerdy. So if collecting is the game, Dusty Pete's is the name. I got it right this time, guys. From figurines and action figures to collectible cards such as Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and sports cards to die-cast replicas, Dusty Pete's is the place. And they have a plethora of comics to choose from as well. So if you're looking to do anything nerdy with your collection, period, Dusty Pete's is the place to go. So you're going to visit them at dustypete's.com and use Super Nerd at checkout for 10% off anything you do purchase from Dusty Pete's at dustypete's.com.
Yeah, and now with everybody kind of just in line right now, a little bit more relaxed, Jeremy, maybe we're going to see that green flag run that we've been, possibly anticipating. Obviously, this is Daytona. Anything can happen. But like we saw last night with the Mach 1, Performance Cup Series, those guys after that first stage, like we talked about, they went green all the way to the end of the race. Maybe that could be the same thing here. I believe we had one caution, and it was only for the stage yesterday in the Mach 1 race. So obviously different turn of events here tonight for the RSR Next Gen Cup. You see a couple guys spread out right now throughout the back half of the field. That is the number 8 of Anthony Ludi leading that little pack with Adam Mountain, who I thought was going to be up at the front most of the time. And unfortunately got involved in some wrecks, but now that things have kind of simmered down, everybody has a chance to learn how the draft works, learn how their car handles in a draft, how it handles to be pushed, what it's like, what line do you feel, most dominant on, and how to make those moves. This is all learning experience before they do have those green flag pit stops.
I was kind of looking through the point system here as we're getting close to halfway, and one driver in particular that really stands out right on the bubble in 16th place was Andrew Little in the 68. He was involved in that second wreck in that turn 3 incident. He's going to be finishing this race dead last here, 34th place, and he was, like I said, on the bubble. He was 4 spots of falling out. So right now, Stan Carnathan, the guy behind him, currently P2, right? So this is really going to shift that 68 down the poles. One other guy, the 94, Nolan Potter, who was involved. Um, he's, or not Nolan Potter, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong name there. Steve Potter. He's his chances are basically done. He was just outside there, and I think that's really about it. Other than Tony Ludi, he was coming into this race P12 on the points, and he was involved in one of those. So I don't know how his car is going to perform the rest of the night. But um, like I said in the pre-race show, it's just one wreck and you're done because you got like 3 or 4 races left before we get to the playoffs, and this was the one that you needed to say, hey, I need to take care of my stuff.
Yeah, and it's very important to keep your stuff together here at Daytona. You think about it, everybody, it's kind of like I know I was kind of really, really, really crazy for the analogy I made last night that I don't even remember what it was, Jeremy. But here's a good analogy. Here's another Jason analogy for the night when it comes to Daytona or Talladega or Atlanta racing. When everybody's together in a pack, think about it as that Lego Death Star that you bought or that Star Destroyer, and it's all put together. And every single driver here driving in this pack is its own little brick, right? Well, think about it like this now. You take one driver, one little brick gets loose, and you drop that brick, and the next thing you know, that thing could be falling apart, and you drop it, and that's what it's like here to race at Daytona. You get one of those bricks out of there, you drop it, and the next thing you know, it goes shattering into a million little tiny pieces, and that's kind of what it's like here at Daytona with one driver getting out of line, getting out of shape, and then a whole wreck happens. So, in hindsight, the moral of this lesson or this analogy is you want to make sure you keep all your pieces on your Lego set here. And unfortunately, some of these guys did not tonight. You see drivers at the back who could have had a really good run. Kevin Zabadil, Jerry Culver, who were up there at the front. Ultimately, their nights look to be done.
What I'm noticing too in this pack, so I don't know if you noticed, but the 34 Nolan Potter just continues to stall on the outside here. Cannot get past 4th or 3rd place. He gets up to the 3rd place from time to time, but just falls back. And right now he cannot get past the number 1 of Mr. Sheffield there. So the number 11, the number 82, and the number 3, that's Hodge, Carnathan, and Fitzpatrick. Those guys are just unseparable. Look at it. Every single time off of turn 2 almost, they get about 2 car length advantage over the number 1 of Sheffield on the bottom. As the number 19, Richie Coy, gets shuffled to the back 3 wide through the sucker hole. Is going to lose 5, 6, 7 positions. He's probably going to find home right behind the 92 and the 23 here coming off of turn number 4. So drop him back a few spots there. But yeah, just this inside. There's just, right now, there is nobody that can do anything with these 3 guys up front.
Well, you want to know why, and I'll tell you why. If we could possibly get a replay of what just happened coming off turn 4 to that number 34 of Nolan Potter, you're going to see right off turn number 4, that 34 was very squirrely, and the 28 of Ryan Bean gave him a huge bump, and that thing got very, very loose, nearly spun out, and just overcorrected in front of the field. But thankfully, they were able to keep it going. And I just think right now, Jeremy, that 34 should not be the guy out front on the top side leading that pack. I think that's hindering their progress up towards that leader of Alexander Hodge.
Yeah, very well could. If the 28 maybe can switch out of the 45, or somebody with maybe a little more speed, or can maintain that pace by using side draft a little bit more. Something needs to change if they want to make some moves happen here. But they're having a really good chance right now, actually getting a little bit of momentum built up. By the same token, right in front of these guys, they have 3 cars that are about to go a lap down right in front. So this is going to put these guys in a weird 3-wide situation here. Very tricky around Daytona to go 3 wide to pass some cars that are really slowed up. So they're probably going to reach them here at the start-finish line this time around. But after they cross the line, guys, they're going to be at the halfway mark here.
Yeah, and obviously this race is very, very much settled down from what we saw earlier on in that first stage. Now that we're at the second stage here, whoa, look at this, 3 wide here for a moment with those lap cars up on the top, led by that 94 car of Steve Potter. He'll drop to the back of the field now. They'll or not the 94, my bad. Richard Gonzalez in the number 9. He actually brushes the wall. very briefly. But even with that contact to the wall, everybody is able to get by him. And that opened up the door for that 34 machine to close the gap on the leader just a little bit more down the back straightaway. They're almost there. Here comes Nolan Potter working to the outside of the 82 of Stan Carnathan, now dropping back just a bit as they enter in a 4.
Oh, the 20 and Ryan Bean, just the little blinky, which is very difficult to manage that at the super speedway because you lose that draft momentum, and you see it there. He blinked, he came back, and look at the momentum that was just killed from this top lane. They had their best chance in probably 15 plus laps of making a move to maybe second place, but no, that blink for about a second or so just put them back into 6th, 7th, 8th place. Now that's you don't not want to see that, right? So the 28 needs to somehow maybe manage that, but they have to restack them back up and get that momentum built up once more. But this inside is not grouped up quite well, and you see pit stops are underway. This is the number 10 of Adam Boughton and the number 8 there of Tony Ludi hitting their pit stalls here. So maybe we're starting to see the beginning of green flag pit stops.
Yeah, it's possible here, Jeremy, because when you look at it, most of these guys last pitted around the lap 20 mark or lap 13 mark. So these guys who pitted on lap 13 are going to need to pit here pretty soon. But for the guys who pitted on lap 20, they can go to about lap 50, lap 55, I want to say. So that's probably when you're going to start seeing pit stops here within the next 10 laps or a little bit more. But obviously, only time will tell. We'll have to see, obviously, strategies depending. This very well could be what we saw last night for the Mach 1 guys with strategies. Everybody came in at different times. You saw Jeff Chandler. He was able to come out, a diamond in the rough in a sense. And he was there in the back of the pack and then pitted at the right time, had no teammates, and somehow was able to maintain for a second place finish while Kyle Milliken was able to hang on and win that race. That very well could happen tonight. We'll have to see how these drivers tackle getting onto pit road, who they're going to go with, who's their friend, who's not. And obviously, you always have to fear and worry about the wrecks coming onto pit road, because we did see one last night, but it wasn't enough to bring out a yellow.
And as you see, as you were talking right there, the number 7 of Harold Rothery jumps out of line there. I think it was the 5th car on the bottom, moved to the top, and now we have a new guy here leading the charge on the top side. As they're side by side with the number 1 here, Michael Sheffield. And look at the gap here on the bottom still, just very unorganized. I don't know if these 3 cars just the only ones that don't have complete depth. Oh, well, here we go. Pit stops underneath the way. There's 11 of Alexander Hodge, number 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick. Quite a few others coming down pit road this time. The 17, Kevin Zabandil, 99, Kevin Ruff, and the 5 of Matt Hayden. 5-car pack coming down pit road for the second group to do so.
And this is most of the guys, too, who pitted on lap 13, so we'll have to see if any of the other guys up at the front just so happen to pit pretty soon with those lap 20. Oh, boy, this is getting really dicey right there. You saw the 34 of Nolan Potter get around Harold Rothery there off turn number 2. He threw a little bit of a block down that back straightaway. They're going to make quick work with him, send him to the back of this line as they head off turn number 4. We'll have to see, though, Jeremy, if any of these guys who last pit on lap 20 are going to pit this time by. No takers from this front pack here heading on to lap 46.
Yep, starting lap 46. So, we're on the back half of this race entirely here. The pit window obviously is open. We've seen some takers as much as 5 laps ago, and I see the 48 keying up. He's saying he's pitting this lap here, which I don't think that's going to affect the leaders. That's Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. Yeah, he's on the tail end of the lead lap here, so not expecting anything from that one. But yeah, window's open. Any one of these guys at any moment in time can come down pit road, and if they want to compete right now, that pretty strong group there that came down the last time or 2 laps ago, led by the number 11 of Alexander Hodge, these guys need to do the same thing. Find 5, 6, 7 cars to come with them if they want to compete. We saw it last night, Jason, where we saw 4 cars versus I think 5 or 6, and there was about a whole entire second difference between the 2 packs. So the numbers game is definitely what you need here in these next gen cars.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt about it. Obviously, you want numbers, but last night we saw those guys up in the front, the 4-car breakaway that happened. They were able to do so, but then again, I think that second pack last night, Jeremy, was not very strong because they were not all together, really. You saw a lot of shuffling around going throughout that pack. But this pack right here, if this is how they're going to come out and leave pit road, even though they have not pitted yet, I think they're going to be in great shape to possibly catch people if they are, in fact, behind this pack when they do pit, whenever they decide to, which could be this time. No, will not. They'll stay out for another lap. So this pack definitely looks a lot more organized than that single file pack we saw last night in those closing laps.
Yeah, it definitely looks way more organized. You are actually correct there on that notion. And I see Matt Keach with his infamous A on the chat there on the Facebook side. Welcome to the broadcast tonight, sir. Hopefully you're enjoying tonight's RSR Next Gen Cup Series event. And I want to give a shout out to Admin Box. Admin Box is built by iRacers for iRacers to be utilized in league and hosted races. The goal is to make race control as easy as possible for race admins, either racing or providing race control. Some extra support. Each admin box connects via USB and features pre-programmed commands. No key binding required for race control, driver function, and pit options. It's LED backlit and makes the buttons highly visible in any situation. Check out what that can do for you and all their pricing plans at adminbox.com. That's adminbox with 2 X's.com, and use that promo code. It's not super nerd, but it's RSR-BOXX. It's going to save you 10% off when you purchase from adminbox.com.
Think soon, Jeremy. We're going to be seeing these guys pit here. We're about to approach lap 50, so probably within the next 5 laps, you're going to see Nolan Potter bring his teammates here down into the pits this time. Thought they were going to look there for a second. They'll stay out yet another lap, this time by lap 50 goes up on the board. So expect these drivers to come to pit road within the next 5 to 6 laps for sure.
And those 5 cars that basically pitted, you're seeing them on your screen now. They're just in front of this big pack here for the race lead. Last lap around this 6-car pack, ran, well, the last 3 laps ran a 46.8, 46.7, 46.7. Essentially, if you kick it over to the race lead and see what times they're running, well, they're running 46.4, 46.5, 46.5. So 2 or 3 tenths faster, but they have way more cars all single filed out, so no surprise that they are quickly catching this smaller group of cars coming around this time by. A couple cars like Rusty wanted to look but did not. They're going to stay single file one more time, complete lap 50.
Yeah, and this is kind of like just, you know, the time's ticking right now. The clock's ticking. It's going off. Any moment now, that clock's going to reach the top of the hour, and it's going to go ding-dong, and next thing you know, it's going to open up the gates of hell, that being pit road. You're going to see all these guys come down to the pit road line, but they're a much bigger pack than what we saw earlier on. They're going to have to be very careful, very strategic, make sure they're not running right up on the back of somebody when they do, in fact, enter pit road. Nolan Potter being the guy who's probably the most vulnerable, considering the fact he's got everybody behind him this time. And off turn 4, they're not going to pit yet again. So again, that time keeps on ticking. We'll have to see. It's just a waiting game for Nolan Potter, his teammates, and the rest of the field that's up at the front in single file.
Now, our producer Dustin has the telemetry presented by TWRS on the screen here. He is catching the pack right now, right? So he's in the wake of the draft. Watch this speed. They're running about 192, 183. But watch this speed when he gets to the end of the straightaway here with this draft. He's going to be 196, 197, I do believe, from what I saw at least last time around. 193, 194. As, well, if he doesn't want to blink, that'd be cool with us. And I see you up to 198 there quickly before getting to the corner. So just a crazy amount of speed there when you got the draft in front of you with a strong pack of cars behind you as well. Coming around turn number 4, still once again not electing to pit. I think what they're doing is going to maybe wait one more lap, catch this pack, and then come down pit road and maximize any speed that they can off this pack in front of them. That draft is giving them extra speed, right? So why waste it by coming down pit road at this time? But they're there. So if they wait one more lap, they're going to have to start slowing up, which is not good for their run. So I'm going to be betting that they're going to come in down this time.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, they are catching that pack that's led by the 99 of Cabin Ruff. That's the pack that they're really battling right now, obviously. So they've made quick work of them. They've been more organized. This is very, very smart of them to do this, actually. And this played right into their hand here. And they're looking to pit this time by. Here we go. Gates have opened. We're going to see about 11 cars dive down pit road this time here, as it looks like Nolan Potter having some internet issues again. but he gets down to the pit road, comes in about second, third, but everybody heading into their pit box this time.
What a clean, organized. I mean, it looked like there were three wide and whatnot, but they came down organized and not, run nose to tail. They all staggered out, which was excellent to see. That whole entire pack came down. Really well job, or good job, guys, for keeping it clean, steady, no locking up the tires or anything. Fuel only for it looks like every single one of these cars. Pit exit seems to be pretty clean, no tire spin as well. What an excellent execution here from this entire pack.
Yeah, great execution. Now the question is going to be is where is Kevin Ruff on the racetrack right now? You see James Catrone and Alonzo King. They're passing them right now. They're exiting turn number 2. Harold Watkins, he's got that lead, but James Catrone going to ultimately take it from those guys, and they are yet to pit. So him and Alonzo King still need to pit here within the next couple laps for sure. They pitted last at lap 20, but it looks like Ryan Bean, Harold Watkins, they've gotten right out front of Kevin Ruff, but he is catching the back of that pack quickly with Richie Coy on the tail end of it. They have got him, and just like that, Jeremy, the pack is all one big one here as they work their way off turn number 4.
And that 48 in there, and then a little 3-car pack is not for position. That is number 48, Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. He's 1 lap down right now, the first and only car 1 lap down. So if there were to be one more caution, this guy is holding that position for sure. But you see the big pack here. 99, Kevin Ruff leading the number 3, 11, 92, 32, 7. Coming off of turn number 2 this time. And they are 8 seconds behind the main leader right now, James Catrone. But the 92 spins out deep and nails the inside safer barrier wall. And of course, it's way off the racing surface and super unfortunate. But Clint Moda will not be getting a caution for this wreck.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for him here. We're going to take a look at the Nerd TV replay. This time off turn number 4. Looked like he got right off the front bumper of the 7 machine that time. That was Harold Rothery off the corner.
Oh, man.
92 just left the door open, man. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was coming up a little high. Maybe got loose. We'll have to take maybe one more look at it off turn number 2 there. We're going to rewind it back like a VCR tape off turn 4. The 7 is there, so he's already to the back bumper of that number 92. Yeah, and the 92 just kind of leaves the door open, and he never slams it. It's like once the 7 was right there on the inside, even though he still never had a fender in on that quarter panel, he just left the door open and just continued to leave it open, ultimately letting the 7 draft up to the driver in front of the 92. 92 decided to close the door. Unfortunately, man, you can't do that, and it's a heartbreaker for Clint Moda, but unfortunately, it was the doing of his own.
Hard lesson learned. Yeah, the 7, Harold Rothery, did absolutely nothing wrong there. He made the pass. The 92 came down. Actually, the 7 went down below the double yellow line to accommodate where he could, but you can only give up so much real estate before you have to go back up the track, right? And then just contact was made, and yeah, that's going to basically put a huge dent into the night of the 92 unless he can get a couple cautions to get reorganized there with some damage repair. But going back to the front here, at least one of the packs, the number 99, Kevin Ruff, still leading this charge right now. Kevin at 10th place that last lap around here, as they are still catching the main pack, or the main leaders rather.
I want to touch right back to Jeremy on that issue because you did bring out a good point about him going below the double yellow line, that being Harold Rothery in the number 7 Monster Energy Toyota Camry off turn number 2. He went below the double yellow line just a tad bit to make sure he had enough breathing room, but unfortunately the 92 just kept coming down. I mean, if you're the 7 of Rothery, what are you going to do? Just lift? You know, you're trying your best to keep that pack organized, trying to catch those guys up at the front of the field. I mean, you can't lift. I mean, he's coming down on you. So, I mean, good job on Harold Rothery to hold his ground, and an unfortunate mistake there by the 92, off turn number 2 there for Clint Moda.
A little bit of a scramble there, too, as you're mentioning about that. Harold Rothery, once again, with a little bit of a bumper tag situation going down the back straightaway. Domino effect pushing the pusher, and it just stacked up. A lot of those guys got hit really hard there, but thankfully no one wrecked. It put the number 7 at the tail end of this grouping, though, behind that number 32 FedEx Camry there, and then the 17 of Zabladil as well. So little temporary situation, but they're still in the draft. They're going to get caught back up. No problem there. But yeah, this is actually minus that little couple of laps with the 92 and then now this bumper tag there. It's been a pretty calm race up to this point as we're closing in on 20 laps to go in this Nerda 200.
Yeah, it's looking like the exact, same as last night. Even though with last night, no cautions at all, only the stage one. And here they are this time. I mean, cautions filled about 3 or 4 in the first stage. Ultimately, one caution ended up being the stage ender before we even hit lap 25. So these guys have been doing green flag racing longer than what they were initially supposed to. So round of applause to them. Obviously, everybody made it to pit road cleanly. James Catrone, Alonzo King, man, they are still out front, but not by much here. James Catrone and Alonzo King, they're going to be caught here by Ryan Bean in that pack pretty quickly. They have another driver tagged on. I want to say that might be the 48. That's Rob Fitzpatrick Sr., who's the last car on the lead lap. Now make that the first car 1 lap down. He's going to go around the 80 and the 38, that being Ryan Bean. So we'll have to see. This pack, though, just because of having that toe off those lap cars, had a big surge of momentum, gained about half a second, 3/10 on that pack with Kevin Ruff leading, and they are flying right now. It's out to 3.3 seconds almost.
I think it's going to be a great time to kick up the turn up the tunes as we're going to listen to all these cars go around the virtual Daytona International Speedway. We'll be back with you guys shortly.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
And welcome back here to Full Screen Action. Just as we were going to talk about returning here, we have another big wreck here, this time involving the 92 once more, Clint Moda. It was involved in that single spin out about 5 or 6 laps prior, which is going to bring out the 4th caution presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee. We're going to take a look at exactly what happened here. I don't know. Jason, do you have anything on that one there?
Yeah, park them. That's all I can say. Park them. There's that you all just saw the video at home. I don't need to explain anymore.
But the thing is, the 92 got turned by the number 7. So like you're gonna see the steering wheel. This will be the tell of the sign right now. But I mean, there's a little pressure from the 33. But like, oh well, you know what? This car kicks sideways, Jason. I have never seen. You see it so off of turn 4, which is like the slickest part of the track, right? You come off turn 4, you're loose. But this off the tri-oval, I know he drifted up a little bit to the 33, but how that just looked like, without going onto his roof camera or his cockpit. Like, I'm kind of shocked by that.
How in the hell did that happen? Like, I'm gonna take back what I said, obviously, just because I got to see the inside of the cockpit cam, but that looked blatantly on purpose, heading through the tri-oval. I mean, I don't know if. Do you think maybe, Jeremy, that he thought that the car up on the outside was going to be checking up, and he checked up, and next thing you know, the thing just snapped? I mean, that was. I've never in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the telemetry from what I have, and he was full throttle up until almost contact there with the 21. So it's not like he weight transferred when he lifted because he was still full throttle when he made contact. So that's just so bizarre. I've never in my life seen a car get loose and self-spin off a tri-oval.
That was a weird deal. I'm not gonna say that was on purpose, but I'm not gonna say that it wasn't either. Um, you know what I mean. But
Yeah,
that was just a weird. I've never out of all the races I've broadcast at Daytona have I seen something like that. Cars have fresh tires. I mean, I know the 92 or the 92 motor didn't have the freshest tires. He obviously spun. Maybe that had a factor. Uh, but running in a pack like that, there was nothing really going on. I can't believe that just happened.
and Dustin, our producer in our ear, as we see the hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog presented by Martin Sports, is going to that number 48 there at Fitzpatrick Seniors. He's going to take his lap around and collect his lap beyond the lead lap when we go back to green flag. But yeah, my producer Dustin in my ear is saying, just quote, this is why we have replays to kind of settle that out. Yeah, I don't know. That's just, it's too bizarre. It's too weird. Maybe the damage made his car loose, which he took a front end hit. So you would think if anything that's going to put more aero drag on the front of that car, which would stabilize it. But some reason, I guess the tires were just too cooked to do that backstretch slide and caused it to go around. So yeah, I was gonna say too, like the 7 was the one who he got involved with on the back straightaway. The 21 had nothing to do with it. So when I saw that, I was like, well, either it had to be some type of like radio coverage that I didn't catch, or but no, it was just it to me now it looks like it was an incident.
Like an incident, but again, I'm not gonna sit here and say it was or wasn't there. Maybe we could try to find out some more info from anybody else, whether it be admins or drivers who are out of the race. We'll have to see if we do get an update on that, and sure enough, we will if that does get presented to us with some information. But definitely a very interesting scenario for sure, Jeremy. But now this presents us with a new scenario due to that caution. Obviously, that pack that was led by Ryan Bean. That lead they had over almost 3.5 seconds dissipated, gone, all because of that 92 car and the incident that happened. Now, Kevin Ruff and that pack, they've caught them. So we're going to get the one to go signal right here at the line this time, I believe. And the iRacing pace truck, the lights will go out. So now they're going to have an opportunity. Restarting in the 8th row, what will they do? How will they work together? They were just single file for multiple laps. Will they still stick with their drivers? Will they try to fend for themselves? We're about to find out here when they restart.
I know it's not good for some of these drivers to see that because they had really good setups going for the end of this race, but it's great for us here watching, us here broadcasting. Um, this is just, it's going to be a nice little 14, 13 lap shootout right around there to get to the checkered flag. So chaos will ensue. Trust me, they're probably almost guaranteed to see some 3 wide, but we got half a lap left. We're going to bring up our weekly schedule here for the broadcast at Nerd TV. And thankfully for you guys that are watching, it's all the same exact time, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And that's Monday for FTSR's Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. And then every Tuesday, we're watching them now, the RSR Next Gen Cup Series. And then Wednesday, go back to FTSR for the Martin Sports Truck Series. And so tune in, show your support here for the Nerd TV guys. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook. Kick's kind of, in the loop there, kick.com. It's a startup site there. So appreciate you guys tuning in here tonight. And one last shout out to Nerd Swag. Apparel, merchandise. It's got our labeling on it. It's pretty cool black and green color combos. We love that color combo. Obviously, that's everything that we are branded. And you see it right there. We have jerseys that are live, Martin Sports gloves, which some of the best gloves. No, I'm going to correct myself. The best gloves on the market. And we got shirtitudes, we got mouse pads, we got bottles, and more to come here. But we're going back to green flag action here. Green flag is out here. And the number 28, Ryan Bean, gets a great jump with Harold Watkins this time with the 23. He's going to be right behind him, but nope, the 28. Oh, well, 23 is going to follow him there. So now 23 is going to follow the 28, Ryan Bean, to the top. And it looks like the number 4 there, Brock Potter, is going to do the same thing. And now Stan Carnathan leads the bottom.
Man, oh man, Jeremy, these Stealth Motorsports drivers have been so stout, so strong all night long. Ryan Bean trying to go back-to-back from Watkins Glen last week. Maybe another teammate of his can steal one away from not only himself, but Nate Campbell, who's been dominant as well all season, despite only having one win at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, which is basically now a super speedway. Earlier in the Part 2 2023 season, we'll have to see this time by, though, at the line. 12 laps to go. It's Stealth Motorsports versus the rest of the field. Here comes Stan Carnathan. He's trying to work on the bottom with Kevin Ruff into one.
Yep, going through turn 1 right now. I see Michelle Rittenberry on the Facebook side saying, let's go, Kevin Lee Ruff. We need a top 5 on my birthday. So, Michelle, happy birthday to you. Hopefully today was a good one. Definitely. But right now, the 82 Stan Carnathan being... Oh, we got a wreck in the back here. 3 or 4 cars around. Do not see the caution flag yet. There it is. Finally presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. The 5th time. We're going to rack them and stack them one more time. This is going to involve the 48, who just got his lap back, that being Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. Also going to involve, it looks like, the number 9 of Richard Gonzalez, the 27 of Mark Thibodeau. And there's actually 2 different wrecks, Jason, all at the same time.
It's not... See right there. There goes Adam Boughton into another driver. Then ultimately, I think those guys up behind him, they started checking up. And unfortunately, oh my goodness, massive hit from Kevin Zabledil to the 21 of Steven Rasick there, heading down the back straightaway, lifted the car up off the ground there. Going to see right here, just a push maybe gone bad. Adam Boughton nowhere to go, gets the 21 and the 80 involved of Alonzo King. Another driver through the grass, then bang, right there. Right there, Zabledil right into the door of Steven Rasick. Down into turn number 3, multi-car incident and 2 separate wrecks. Not uncommon. It does happen occasionally here at these super speedways.
And Kevin right here, watch this impact. I think he realized that his race was done when the 21 came up the track, and instead of going to the top side, he turned left and a direct T-bone to the 21 there, right at the entrance of turn number 3. But yeah, I think you're correct. I think that second wreck happened because they were checking up for the primary one here. So we're back on board with Kevin Zabledil one more time. We see the bump here. They're still good. They're 3 wide, but they're kind of spaced out. You see the wreck now. The wreck's in front, and all of a sudden the 27 to 48 maybe forgot where they were on the track looking ahead at the wreck. And then they just forgot that they were 3 wide, turned into each other. That causes that wreck. And then here comes 17 up to the 21, sliding back up the track a little bit. He has space to the right, but he says, I'm going to turn left, and destroys the right rear of the 21.
Know if maybe he had somebody on his outside here. Maybe we can take a third-person look from the drone cam right there with Kevin Zabledil, because I don't know if maybe the 92 right there was to his outside or not. But here we go. We're going to ride from his camera angle again, this time from the outside. And by the looks of it, just from the start of this, it looks like he's not going to have anywhere to go. The 92 outside. So he had time to come up. And I think he thought the 21 was still going to be rolling. I don't know why he didn't just cut it hard right. I mean, the 21 was slow enough where I think you could have probably seen him starting to stop. But, unfortunately, Kevin Zabledil nowhere to go, really, unless you were to go to the outside if you were him. But unfortunately, just a victim of something that wasn't really his mess there heading down the backstretch.
And that first track, too, was started to look like by the number 80 of Alonzo King. A bad bump to the 38, sent the 38 loose, and then the 80 hit the outside wall. And then the 10 of Adam Boughton got to the inside, and it just caused a contact that hooked him So I know we focused a lot on that second wreck, but here's the first one here of number 80, Alonzo King. Check up in the top lane. You see the sparks flying. Boom, there's the contact, smashes the wall. Comes back down a little bit as the 10 of Boughton just, nowhere to go, has to go to the bottom to carry that momentum. Spins the number 80, sends the number 10 through the bus stop. There goes the 21 doing a 360 on the back straightaway. So 3 cars involved in that one. You can count the 38 for being bumper tagged pretty hard there, but and then there comes that second set of cars also coming in. So 2 wrecks coincided with each other, brings up that 5th caution.
Yeah, very unfortunate. And here comes Zabadil right here. Alonzo King has a front row seat practically for it. Maybe had to look out the left side window net there. And I bet you he was probably like, dang, that was a hard hit. Probably in his head. But hey, it happened. We're cleaned up. We're ready to go, man. We're going to be racing with 8 laps to go here. Stealth Motorsport guys up at the front stand. Carnathan, Kevin Ruff, probably the 2 oddballs thrown it in there. You also have Alexander Hodge, one of the earlier race leaders in this race. He's going to line up 7th, and we'll have to see here. And look at who's in 11th right now. Matt Hayden in that number 5 machine. He could possibly have a very good shot at winning this. Member had a very good run back at Atlanta. Both him and his teammate Rusty Modesty earlier on at Atlanta this season. So maybe those 2, or just Matt Hayden from Zab Motorsports, can somehow make his way up towards the front and do something with that number 5 machine here.
Yeah, the number 5 and the number 6 both have been inside the top 3 at one point in time or another in this race. I know the Stealth Motorsports has just, taken it once more here tonight, but there has been times where the other teams, as you mentioned, Zab Motorsports in particular, have made the effort. They've made the run. They've been up to the front. So it's not like they can't do it. So maybe they're waiting for this last moment in this race to strike, make things happen here. 8-lap shootout's going to decide that one there. I seen Ryan McCall on the Facebook side saying, go get it, Stan. Has Stan Carnathan currently going to be restarting this race. P4, row 2 on the top side here of the number 4 of Brock Potter, who's got that number 99 of Kevin Ruff right behind him, who's being cheered on by Michelle. So we know the 99 needs to get a top 5 for Michelle Rittenberry. So no pressure there for Kevin.
Yeah, and they're going to be coming down to the green flag here this time by. We'll see what Kevin Ruff can do against those Stealth Motorsport drivers.
Green flag, green flag.
Yep, and green flag is out. The 28 out of a cannon once more, but that's not good at Daytona. You don't want to see that. He's going to jump in front of the inside lane there, right in front of the 23 of Harold Watkins. Now, Stan Carnathan and the 99 of Kevin Ruff are going to lead the charge on the top here. Only 3 or 4 cars in tow right now, but 5, 6 on the bottom right now. Nose to tail in numbers. You're going to have the really good first lap here to get wound up for speed. But if this outside can pick it up and stay in line, they're going to have a good chance here.
Yeah, we'll see how that outside lane just so happens to line up. But Stealth Motorsports all down on the bottom side of the racetrack. We'll see what happens this time by. Off turn number 4, Carnathan with a big push coming from Ruff. Off turn number 4, everybody gets a little bit squirrely, but so far, so good. 7 laps to go from the World Center of Racing.
The 82 is Stan with a great run here. Going to be alongside your race leader, the 28 of Ryan Bean here. And quickly makes work. He has the inside if he wants it, but he's going to stay to the top there. Just a little too close to make that cut to the bottom. It's going to keep them running nice and strong here. The 7 of Harold Rothra. Ooh, the 28 of Ryan Bean's a little messed up here off of turn 2. Checks up, goes to the infield momentarily. It's going to lose all the momentum here. They're still making contact. A 34 of Nolan Potter, 45 of Nathan Campbell. They make door-to-door contact halfway down the back straightaway. Checks them up even more. And then all of a sudden, the top lane here is the preferred momentarily. Stan Carnathan's going to lead this lap.
Laps to go now up on the board. Stan Carnathan trying to walk away with the win at Daytona after a mishap from the Stealth Motorsport drivers. And if I were anybody there, Jeremy, up on that outside lane who is in front of Mr. Ryan Bean, I'm jumping down to that bottom, man. You have to. 6 laps to go. Why would you wait in line? Why would you let them get that momentum back if they sure enough can do it? Down the back straightaway, though, 5.5 laps to go. If I were them, jump down as soon as possible. Take advantage of that inside lane.
Man, that 23 of Harold Watkins is carrying Ryan Bean down the back straightaway. They passed 2 cars, maybe even 3, just along that backstretch alone, coming off of turn number 4. That number 28 Ryan Bean is going to be the 3rd car in line here, alongside the number 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick and the number 11 as well of Alexander Hodge to the line that time, score that 28 in 4th place. Stan Carnathan now goes to the bottom, and Kevin Lee Ruff to the point, followed by the 11 of Alexander. New race leader, 3 wide in the back.
It's getting tight here off turn number 4. Look at Rusty Modesty all the way to the top side. Some drivers wanting to go with them. They're going to put 2 drivers down the middle there. The FedEx Toyota Camry, another driver there, back there. And here comes Rusty. Look at that from the outside by himself. Passes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, possibly more. As they work their way off 4. Oh, no, it looks like the 82. The line shuffled to the back, 4 laps to go from Daytona.
Dan Carnathan with the best hands in the field, man. Oh, here we go. 45, the 33, and the 32, and the 82 is Dan Carnathan. Is going to bring up the 6th caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. The 82 had such an epic save there from the apron transition at speed at turn number 4. Keeps it going straight, and then after that settles, then we have a 3-car wreck here for the 6th caution. Stan on the bottom of the track, minding his own business here, keeps it down there until, well, actually, no, the 32 and the 45 are coming down to wreck him. Looks like the 82 is going to merge up, but no fault to the 82. 45, 32 make contact. 32 heavy impact to that inside safer barrier wall there. It has a hard hit to the door panel.
I want to see if we can take a look at the replay from a 32's point of perspective, because that looked to be on his end there. Probably his fault coming down the racetrack right in front of the 45. I don't know if there was a push gone wrong, possibly. Maybe if the 38 was just closing him in here, but we'll have to take a look and see. And the 32 just starts coming down. It looks like, man, from this angle here, maybe if we can get from that third person perspective with the drone camera, we'll see again. That 32 car ultimately, Jeremy, looked like it was coming down for sure.
Yeah, let's get another angle here. Watch that dark seam there right in the middle of the track. He is straddling that line right now. This will be your telltale sign. Still straddling. Yeah, comes down a little bit there. Gets his right sides. Yep, that's exactly what happened. That line gives it away. Came down across the 45, and then the 82 just, he was trying to merge back up, but did no fall, like I said, of his own. And now Kane Lee, heavy door slam here to the inside retaining wall. And, with the carbon composite body, it doesn't look like much damage, but I'm sure that car has something bent somewhere.
Almost reminded me a little bit if you would have hit it with the front bumper, possibly. I believe, if I am correct, this was a wreck I had in the back of my mind, and always me, Jeremy, pulling stats out of my butt here. But Joey Logano back in the in one of the dual races, I believe it was, he got turned right in front of the field there and slammed that inside wall in the front end of the car, got up off the ground. And that was eerily similar to what happened to the 32 machine there. Very unfortunate, but wow, what a save. Didn't even get to see that save by Stan Carnathan, but wow, man, what a heck of a save. And then this is just unfortunate, man. After a heck of a save, it's like, oh, well, you got awarded for that heck of a save. But hey, watch this, man. And unfortunately gets collected in something that was none of his doing.
Yeah, no kidding there. Just unfortunate all around. But yeah, that was a great save. And you see the 57 going around the pace truck and everybody else. That's going to be your Martin Sports hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog Award going to Mr. Brian Fine there. He's going to put himself back on the lead lap. That's going to bring it to 23 cars on the lead lap here on this restart, which is going to be an official green-white checker. So 1 of 2 on the board. So if they wreck them one more time, it'll be the final restart next time.
Yeah, only 2 attempts at overtime here for the RSR guys. So 1 single caution here for these guys will pretty much do it, I believe, right? Because, we're going to be going into our first attempt at overtime. They're about to go into their second if the yellow does come out. And then next thing you know, they line them up, get ready to go for that second overtime. Caution comes out. It's over, man. So we'll have to see. But Kevin Ruff, man, look at him. Talked about if he could do anything. Currently got from 8th all the way up to 1st here.
Got Michelle Rittenberry cheering him on. Wants that birthday gift from Kevin. And then kind of a funny comment here. I'm seeing Kevin Zabadil on pit road getting some repairs. car number 17 comes up and says, "Oh, I'm 17 laps down now." Smiley face. It's having some fun while sitting on pit road.
Yeah, just obviously some some shenanigans going on, and there's a lot of guys who've had a lot of damage here tonight. But not as many drivers out of this race as I expected here from what we saw earlier on. You know, it's kind of like you get that first taste of something you're trying for the first time, rather it's a dessert, maybe a salty food or whatnot. You're like, okay, so this is what I'm going to expect now, you know? But then all of a sudden you get to a certain part where you're like, oh, so that's what it's like. And that's kind of what it's like right now. We kind of expected maybe a lot more damaged race cars, maybe some more drivers out just from what this race was kind of leading up to be, possibly, Jeremy, from that first stage with the 3 to 4 cautions we had, then a little bit more incidents after the long green flag run. And here we are now, still currently from what it looks like about 22, 23 cars on the lead lap. So there are guys out here who still have a very, very high probability to win this race for all 23 drivers.
Yeah, 100% there. And admins did not send anyone to the back for that wreck, so I think they deemed that just a pure racing incident. On that last caution there, because they usually send the person at fault to the back, but no one this time. Pace truck lights are out. 1 lap to go, at least a half lap left. We are at lap 80 right now, so as soon as they cross the line, it'll begin the official overtime past the 80 scheduled laps here this evening. And want to shout out our partners at iRacing iFlag. It's the iRacing standard for open-sourced race marshalling lightboard system with a 64 LED matrix system that displays every single flag and notification that iRacing has to offer in a truly noticeable peripheral vision fashion, making it both impossible to miss any flag like the yellow or blue or anything else in between. It makes it a lot easier for you to see it, and it keeps your focus on the track at the highest it needs to be. So if you're looking to complete your sim rig and have a one-of-a-kind product 3D printed and customized to your liking, head over to iracingiflag.com. And of course, we got that Super Nerd promo at checkout. It's going to save you 15% off anything you do purchase from Jeff at iracingiflag.com. Pace truck makes a sharp cut down to pit road. OT is officially underway here. Green, white checker, 1 of 2. Green flag is in the air. The 99 of the cabin rough leads him to the green flag there, and it pulls out about a whole car length. Quickly jumps in front of his partner, it looks like to be for tonight's race, in front of the number 11 of Alexander Hodge as they go to turn number 1.
Yeah, and he's the only Ford up there all the way until you get to Richie Coy, who's second up on the top side, trying to push Matt Hayden to the front of the field here. We'll see how they work this time by coming down the back straightaway. A lap and a half to go. Will they keep it clean?
Big bump.
Oh, there goes one car out of line. Will we see any more? That's the 3.
Big.
I believe they're wrecking. Oh, big crash heading into 3.
7, 8, 9 cars involved in this one. 7th caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. See the number 2. The 3 got shot down. Massive bumping. You cannot push the pusher, and there was a massive checkup, and it was just chaos there. Cars went everywhere. Huge wreck here. I think the biggest one here this evening.
Only the biggest one, Jeremy, just from the parking lot party that was down in turn number 3. All started. Ryan Bean, your points leader, turned around. Lots of drivers involved. Anthony Ludi. There's Bowden, Potter, Trentonthal. Lots of guys involved here late in the going. And this all started with one hit. Next thing you know, the 28, bang. I think something happened to James Catrone. He got shot into the 28. Then you saw Schrittenthal. He went around. More drivers coming along. Oh, this is going to be a big hit for the 2. Right in front of the 82 or the 92 machine, I believe that is. Everybody else, though, going around. Massive wreck heading into turn number 3. Takes out a lot of good cars here, Jeremy, on the first attempt at overtime.
You saw the 48 just slam the number 2. Then the Stan Carneth, the number 82, comes in and side slams the number 28 there of Ryan Bean as they're slow to checking up for this wreck. You see Brian Fine barely makes some bumper contact to the 28 once more, so hit by multiple cars that number 28 did. But yeah, that was big time wreck. There was just a bump gone wrong, a huge checkup, and that's all it took to set this field going. As we're going to be on board here, it looks like the 57, Brian Fine. The wreck's happening. You have time to check up. And just he sees the gap there at the bottom. So we're going to go cold trickle style. And then when it closed the door, he's like, oh no, oh no, oh no. And just light contact there. And he's good to go.
I think he'll be all right, though. I really do. I don't think that damage on the right front fender is too bad. We'll have to see. I mean, he's going to be 14th. Right now, that's what he's listed as. I don't really see a lot of damage to the right front fender of that car, but there were a lot of guys, though, who got involved. And here's another on board. I believe this is from Stan Carnathan in the 82 machine. He sees the wreck happening, already getting on the brakes. You see the chaos unfolding in front of him, behind him, to the left side, all around him, nowhere to go.
Man.
And look at that. Oh, boy, a little bit of a blinkage moment. And then next thing you know, hits from the rear. And he goes right down, hits Ryan Bean. Then he's going to get nailed again, I believe, coming up here. There's the 27 machine. He gets involved as well. So that being Marc-Andre Thibodeau. So interesting turn of events here at Daytona. Lots of guys up in the front of the field who were contenders all night long, Jeremy, taken out in this one. And we could possibly see a first-time winner tonight.
And this changes the landscape. So quite a few of those guys were, your top contenders in this race. As you see them all piling in once more here. 28, there's the number 1, Michael Sheffield. Number 8, Tony Ludi. 10, Adam Batten. All piled up on the top half of the track. Of course, we saw Bob Fitzpatrick in the 3 shoot down way deep in the grass. There's the contact with Stan Carnathan in the 82. And then the 27 almost squeaks by. That door closed at the very last moment, that being Mark Thibodeau. Massive right front damage to his Chevrolet Camaro. Jerry Culver in the camera right there, up against the wall. I don't think he made contact with anybody, so he just kind of squeaks by there, slowing it up there on the top half of the track. And of course, as you slow down, this track washes you to the apron, bottom half of the track. And a lot of repairs to get anything going here. One more view. This is from Jerry Colvin, the 13 in real time. Oh, we actually tagged a 33 there by complete accident. That's James Fitzmaurice, and just got a wall grind all the way around.
Yeah, just, so much chaos going on. It's kind of hard to not avoid any of it. Unfortunately, for the 3, I just think it's funny because if you think about it in retrospect, Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. got basically turned sideways in front of the field, or at least in the mid to back end of the pack there, down the back straight away, shuffled to the back, saved it, came back. Next thing you know, they're all wrecking. He came through pretty much unscathed, and now he winds up 10th currently. And yeah, here he goes right here through the grass, man. He's going like Bo and Luke Duke through the grass in Hazard County. I think he's mowing it here for these employees at the virtual Daytona International Speedway. Here he comes, sees all the carnage on the outside of him, inside, all around him, sees more guys piling up ahead of him, and he comes out, shining like a diamond here off turn number 3 and 4. So good job by Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. to get around all this chaos.
Yeah, it's basically driving on ice skates down there in the grass, and to get sent out of the carnage and able to not hit anybody, that's great stuff there. Glad to see that, because it was not his fault. He got shifted deep into that infield there, and he's going to be restarting this race, looks like in 10th place on the outside lane over the number 4, Brock Potter. But Kevin Ruff is going to be restarting this race first. Matt Hayden, we talked about him a few restarts ago. He's found himself in 2nd place after that carnage. The number 11 of Alexander Hodge starting right behind number 99, Kevin Ruff. These two guys have been working really well in the back half of this Nerd Toots 200. And then 3rd row, well, actually 2nd row on the top. Look at that 19, Richie Coy, out of nowhere once more after the wreck. He has a chance here to go back-to-back podiums. 3rd row, the number 6, Rusty Modesty. Gained quite a few spots under that exchange, and into his outside, the 38, James Catrone. Had an up-and-down day with car contact multiple times around this track. But we're going to go for the final restart attempt here in this race. Green flag is out for the final time. 99, Kevin Ruff gets a decent start here. Going to bring his teammate for the night, number 11, Alexander Hodge, directly to his back bumper. But nope, going to quickly cut to the top. Squeezes the gap. They both file up to the top side. Matt Hayden says, nope, I'm going to do this. Kevin Ruff is going to play the blocking game. And there's a wreck here in the back, the 57 and the 82. Don't know if it's going to bring a caution out. We stay green momentarily.
Throughout the back of the field there, everybody keeps it straight. Meanwhile, back up at the front, Kevin Ruff trying to hold them all at bay. He's got Matt Hayden on his back bumper. Rusty Modesty right behind him with Richie Coy trailing Alexander Hodge on the outside.
Alexander's got a fast car. Let's see if he can carry this momentum. 99 blocks to the top. That's going to kill the momentum on the top side. Matt Hayden of the 5 is going to lead these guys to the white flag presented by absolutely nobody here. James Catrone slow, makes contact with the 3. They might wreck. Oh, the 38's in the wall all by himself here. More contact. They're still trying to wreck, and here they go. 3, 4 cars, one up in the air. The number 1 of Michael Sheffield headed to the wall. We stay green.
Staying green right now. Massive crash at the back of the field as they all pile in behind them. Meanwhile, back up at the front cabin, rough Alexander Hodge. They're dueling it out here for the final time down the Daytona Super Stretch. Who's it gonna be as they work into 3 and 4 for the final time?
Bob Fitzpatrick, look at this run on the top side of the number 19, shot out of a cannon once
No
more.
way.
3 wide, Richie Coy, number 5, Matt Hayden, gonna try to cross over multiple spins here. Kevin Ruff and the number 99 is gonna get it done. The Martin Sports winning moment is gonna go to the 99. The 19 cuts the grass a little bit. It's gonna lose a couple spots on that exchange there. Just a crazy amount of chaos in that final lap. I don't know if it was all worth it, but at the end of the day, one guy is happy with a smile on his face. That's going to be the number 99, and Kevin Ruff picks up his first win this season.
Lots of chaos ensuing there on the final lap, Jeremy, even ensuing onto the final lap. But hey, Michelle, if you're still watching, you asked for a top 5. He said, I'm going to do you one better, and I'm going to grab you a nice win here on your birthday. So massive wreck in the back of the field. You saw the one car. We'll take a look at this replay here again. Oh, my goodness, what a hit by Brian Fine. And we'll try to see. You said the one car went up in the air. I want to know if he went upside down. So we'll take a look here at the replay probably one more time. But that was a massive, massive wreck going into turn number 1. We'll have to take a look. But Kevin Ruff, though, ultimately comes out victorious, played the blocking game, and did it just right there at the end.
Yeah, that was number 1, Michael Sheffield. All 4 tires up off the ground here. I'm going to go reverse here. Oh, yeah. We're going to take one look here. Just bam, bam, just a lot of door contact. Just aggressive racing. I don't know if it was called for, but the 48 just shifts Michael Sheffield up and over, as you said, lands right on the door panel. Thankfully, this is a virtual car, not a real car. But then, yeah, up there, loses his hood, bounces a couple times, gets back on our 4 wheels. Takes out that really strong number 45, Nathan Campbell. Then Brian Fine just destroys that, what was remaining of the number 1 there. Just that whole last bit of exchanges, that was insane. But we got a grouping up here in the front stretch. I don't know what's going on, but teammates are just piling up, I presume, at the start-finish line.
And congratulations to Kevin Ruff. And hey, for my first time for Nerditudes, I got to see a flip. That's my first flip covering here on Nerditudes. Can you believe that? Although all the time we've been calling races together, Jeremy and Dustin, that's the first time I've seen a flip here on Nerd TV. So, but, you know, thanks to Dustin's camera. And yeah, there you go. I'm not going to repeat that at all. But, I mean, that's one way of saying it. Kevin Ruff, though, man, what a job. Well done. Thought that he wasn't going to be able to get there. Got that caution ultimately after the 92 went around and collected the 21, put himself in a great position in 8th, drove up through the field, and he did a great job. And hey, how about Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. coming home P3 after everything that ensued within the last 10 minutes, somehow was able to come home 3rd.
And this is going to bring us to our unofficial results here, presented by Blake H. Howell Designs there. And Kevin Ruff is going to be P1 here tonight. Alexander Hodge going to be 2nd place. 3rd place, number 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick. Number 4 of Brock Potter. 5th place will be the number 10 of Adam Boughton. 6th place will be 6th of Rusty Modesty. 7th place, number 19 of Richie Coy. 8th will be 5 of Matt Hayden. 9th place, Harold Rothery. And tonight's 10th place finisher, the number 28, Ryan Bean.
Here tonight, you have Kane Lee coming home P11th, James Catrone 12th, Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. 13th, Stan Carnathan 14th, Nolan Potter comes home 15th, Harold Watkins 16th, Alonzo King 17th, Nate Campbell 18th, Anthony Ludy 19th, and Michael Sheffield after a big tumble into turn 1, and that number 1 machine will come home P20.
I'm actually showing P20 Brian Fine there. 21st, Tony Ludi. 22nd, Clint Moda. 23rd will be Mark Thibodeau. 24th, Zach Strenthenal. 25th, James Fitzmaurice. 26th place belongs to Richard Gonzalez. 27th, Stephen Rasick. 28th, Kevin Zabledale. 29th, Jerry Culver. 30th, Matt Upbrook. 31st, Andrew Little. 32nd, Michael Carter. 33rd, Steve Potter. And Blake Howell on the 26th ends up last place. And 34th, and this will kick us to the full screen commercial break. And we're going to get the top 3 gathered up here, and we'll be back shortly after these messages. And welcome, guys, to the Martin Sports Post-Race Show. We're going to talk to our tonight's top 3 finishers here this evening for the Nerditudes 200 at the Daytona International Speedway. And Front Row Racing takes home 1, 2, 3 tonight. First person to bring in is, Big Bob over there in the number 3 High Noon Chevrolet Camaro. Bob, welcome to the podium.
Hey, thanks. About time. Been a while.
It's been a while for sure, man. Congratulations on that excellent team work there at the end. Had escaped quite a few wrecks. You were involved in a couple of them, especially that last one where you cut the grass there down the back straightaway. Just a lot of bad bumping going on, it looked like on my angle. First off, how are you able to hold onto that car and not spin it through the ice that is the grass on iRacing?
I have no
how do you
idea.
bring it E3?
I have no idea, but I got back to 10th, and I just said I'm not getting behind anybody, and I just used all the runs constantly. And I mean, I got to give Brock Potter a shout out too, because he's the only reason I did that. He followed the whole way, and like I said, I just got behind him, and whenever I got behind somebody, I just made the move. You got to go on the last lap or two. I got into Catrone there, so sorry, James, if you're listening. I tried to bump him, and he got loose, and I just had to keep going. But yeah, we had a good run as a team all day, or at least the second half of the race. And just glad that we got a 1, 2, 3 here. That's awesome.
Yeah, Bob, congratulations on P3, obviously, for Front Row Racing and 1, 2, 3, you guys sweeping the podium positions, obviously. But, man, take us through that incident going down the back straightaway with that last caution, because, man, you were going through the infield. You were mowing that thing practically for these guys. For those who said it was an inch too tall, you were making sure it was cut just right going down there with your High Noon Chevy. And then all of a sudden, the chaos started ensuing heading into turn 3, man. What was going through your mind? Because you went from mid-pack to the back because of that incident, and then all of a sudden everybody wrecks, and next thing you know, you found yourself in 10th. So take us through that.
Yeah, well, I had said something to Harold over the radio, and he was getting pushed, and I just I just got pushed, and my car, I had no control over getting sent like that. And then I was just down there, and to be honest, I have no idea how I held on to it, and I have no idea how I didn't hit anybody. I was looking right the whole time. I wasn't even looking ahead of me because I seen them start piling them up, and I was just trying to keep a solid speed where I'm not going too slow or going too fast, and come up and hope when I came up nobody was there, and there wasn't. So
Yeah, great job handling that situation there and bringing it home P3. Excellent to see you back in podium spot here, man. Congratulations one last time. The floor is yours. Final shout outs before we let you go this evening.
just shout out to my wife, letting me do this every Tuesday night, and for the team, we've been struggling. We've been taking a lot of risks all season, trying to get an edge towards the end of the races. It hasn't worked out, but it worked out today. So the rest of the team pushing each other, helping each other today, really did good.
Yeah, 100% there, man. And congrats once more. And yeah, we'll catch you next week.
Yep, thanks. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too, man. That was driver number 3, Bob Fitzpatrick. And now it's time to bring in our second place finisher, also from Front Row Racing, number 11 of Alexander Hodge in the K1 Race Gear Chevrolet Camaro. Welcome to podium there, Alexander.
Yeah, that was an awesome race. Awesome race. Good team win.
Good team win for sure. I saw everybody on the front stretch lining up while Kevin Ruff was doing his burnouts. And man, you and the 99, once you guys got hooked up tonight, you were one of the unstoppable combinations out there. Put a strong run up against the 28 and the 45 and the 34 for that matter, because they led a good chunk of this race. But how was your team able to survive all those wrecks and able to bring it home 1, 2, 3?
I think just the strategy of playing in the front. It's big to be up there and out of that kind of the mess in that 10th through 20th. In this league, it seems like that is the area that is everybody is just hard charging, and all the accidents happen in that area.
Yeah, and Alex, congratulations on P2 tonight. You guys sweeping the podium positions, man. We saw that Stealth Motorsports were very, very lined up tonight. Very, very strong, very, very good. And then obviously there at the end, everything kind of went haywire there for them. And you guys over at Front Row were able to do a hell of a lot better than them, man. Did you guys think you guys had what it took as a team to compete with those Stealth Motorsport guys tonight?
Oh, absolutely. I think even with 15 to go, we had a team mindset. Let's get one car into victory lane, and whoever that is, it didn't matter. We're all going to push and make that happen, utilizing blocks or pushes, and just get up there and run up front.
I'm actually kind of looking at the points here too, and you came into this race 22nd place, but the guys in front of you all had issues or did not show up. So like, I think you have a good chance of being right at that bubble there in 16th, 17th place whenever the points get finalized. So this now puts you in playoff contention for the final few races. So what are your expectations here for the final few weeks before we get to the playoffs?
Yeah, just keep running clean. Getting some finishes. I think the last 2-3 weeks I've run pretty strong. Just need to qualify a little bit better sometimes, just so I don't have to battle in that 10th through 15th area all night long. And getting some stage points always helps.
Yeah, 100% there, man. But congratulations on P2. Excellent job from yourself and the team. Final shout outs before we let you go.
Just everybody on the team. I mean, this is a team win, so couldn't do without anybody. Just glad for the league. It's an awesome league.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be so. I would concur there. But man, yeah, go and celebrate with the team, and we'll catch you next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And that was Alexander Hodge, driver the number 11. And now it's time to load up the victory lane here for the number 99, Mr. Kevin Ruff. Welcome to victory lane for the first time this season.
Hello.
Hey, man. Congratulations on the victory. Awesome job by the entire team there. You and the 11 seem to be one of those really good combinations out there on the track. First and foremost, we had Michelle Rittenberry, saying you had to get a top 5 for her birthday. And, well, I think you exceeded expectations on that. And walk us through your entire night. There's a lot of chaos that ensued, and somehow your team escaped most of it.
It all started at the very beginning when that caution came out, and they said that it was stage, because in the rule book, if a caution comes out where there's 5 laps, under 5 laps to go on the stage, that it's stage. And Fitz and Hodge actually did not hear us confirm that it was staged, so they stayed out. So I was like, oh crap. Well, then I started looking at fuel and I was like, well, if they run till lap 44, 45, 46, we can pit together. It's going to be a gamble and we can go all the way to lap 80. So we pitted. Lucky enough, we had a couple cars come with us. And I just told them, I said, just keep painting my bumper and shoving me down the track. So we kept gaining and gaining and gaining. And then once it got towards the end, right before that lucky caution came out towards the end, we started losing a little bit of time with the lead pack. And I told them, I said, guys, I said, this is about as good as we could do. If we get top 10s, I said, I'll be stoked because we were 8th, 9th, and 10th. And then, of course, that caution came out, and I told them, I said, all right, this just throw the whole idea in the trash because we got a whole new game plan now. And, man, I couldn't have done it without my team. It is amazing the teamwork that we do on super speedways like this, and it showed tonight.
Yeah, Kevin, congratulations on your first win here of the season. Obviously, very strong run for you guys out of front row, and not to mention the fact too that Stealth Motorsports were very strong tonight. Just talked to your teammate Alex Hodge, and he said that you guys were just very good together. But down the back straightaway, they were on the inside and they got very out of shape. I don't know if Ryan or Harold or who got shoved really hard, and all of a sudden they kind of dissipated towards the back more, and then everything kind of ensued. Do you think with how hard it was to pass tonight, because mostly everybody were going 2 by 2, if that wouldn't have happened, do you think you would have been put in the good position that you were there at the end?
I mean, top line won the race tonight. I mean, that's to set it up, and that's why we kept having a couple of those yellows, which everybody knows at Daytona. I mean, there's going to be yellows coming with less than 10 to go. And we just kept shuffling, and finally we got lined up where we could both go on the top line. So yeah, I think if it went the other way and they had momentum on the other line, I think it was going to drastically change. But the top line won this race tonight for sure.
It definitely looked like it. Now, man, you're locked into the playoffs. So, what are your initial thoughts here of the next 3 weeks, Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol? Do you go for the checker flags, or you kind of help your teammates prepare?
I got to get them in the playoffs, man. I mean, I'm a team player. We all work together. I told them, I said, guys, I said, I'm not trying to say that I want this spot, but I was in front and they were saying, we're going to keep pushing you. We're going to keep pushing you. And you know, it's just, we're all working together. I'm locked in now and we got to get them in the playoffs, man. It's all about teamwork at this point.
Yeah, 100% there. And I wish you the best of luck getting your teammates into the victory lane, at least one other guy for sure. But floor is yours. Final thoughts before we let you go this evening.
I just want to thank Front Row Racing, Alonzo King, Jerry Culver, Bob Fitzpatrick Sr., and Alexander Hodge. All they do, the time that they put in the sim rig and help me out, week after week. That's a 3-year drought in RSR that I snapped tonight. So I am very thankful for their teamwork, and it showed tonight how much we have progressed in this season. I want to thank you guys. You guys have absolutely been the best broadcasting team I've ever seen on iRacing. You guys do a great job. It shows you guys put a lot of time and effort into this, and we thank you for that. It makes it so much more fun leading up in the weeks. I want to give a shout out to Michelle. She watches every single race. Very thankful for her watching it. She's a very good family friend. She always tells me on the weekends if I see her up at my parents' property, hey, I'm ready to watch you on Tuesday nights, and stuff. So I want to thank her. I want to thank Anthony Ludi, Michael Sheffield, and last but not least, I want to thank Best One Tire. Best One Tire, they are a great company to work for. I'm very thankful. I love what I do for a living. It shows. They agreed to sponsor this league, and they're very happy. I get so many people from all the Best One stores across the country that message me and tell me, hey, we see that you got a virtual sim car, and we really want to see you do well. So I'm very thankful for that, and it's unbelievable tonight. I almost cried. It's a lot of work and time and effort that you put in this stuff, and it's just a hobby. But at the end of the day, this is something that helps me with depression and stuff like that. So when all the work pays off on a night like this, it's just unbelievable feeling.
Man, well, first and foremost, appreciate the compliments there. That's awesome to hear the feedback. Second off, 3-year drought, man, that's huge. Glad you're able to finally break that and lock yourself into the championship, man. That's crazy. And to have your teammates with you 1, 2, 3, that's just a picture perfect night for you, especially in the team. So, congratulations, man, overall. One last time, but yeah, enjoy the night, enjoy the week, celebrate where you can, and then we're gonna catch you next week in Darlington.
Thank you, boys. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And that was the number 99. Kevin Ruff, driver of the best one tire. Ford Mustang here. Field full of Toyotas and Chevrolets, and the Ford there of Kevin Ruff takes it home. Jason, crazy night here at Daytona.
Yeah, definitely more eventful than what we saw in last night's Mach 1 Performance Cup Series race, man. But seriously, touching on, something that kind of hit, and I'll admit, I kind of, started tearing up a little bit hearing about Kevin Ruff, because it's like, I understand, that he appreciates a lot of people that he gets around him. He appreciates hard work, dedication, no matter what it is. And he talks about how this is a hobby, man. Sometimes, people like us, we don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars. We don't have $1 million charters to go out and race every weekend. And this is the platform that we're presented with. We have gaming consoles, but more importantly, we have iRacing. And iRacing has been a great tool over these last 15 years. They just celebrated their 15th anniversary as of recent, just a couple days ago, I think even last week. So it's really cool to see somebody like Kevin be able to be very thankful for what he's able to do. He talks about how this is kind of his getaway, and it's my getaway too, and I get it too, so congratulations to Kevin, and all these guys too. They put on one heck of a show. We love calling it. We love watching it. We love the people who watch it. We love the drivers. And it's something that, we continuously look forward to every single week.
Yeah, it's an excellent platform. We don't have the millions of dollars, but it's just this awesome thing, right? We have these really high tech steering wheels and pedals and whatnot that really kind of just it makes it feel like you're in a car. So it's a one of a kind setup, really, and thankful to be a part of it also. But we're gonna bring this thing to a close. And actually, you know what? Appreciate you, Dustin. I know you're not on camera, you're not feeling well, but you did a hell of a job keeping up a lot of our camera angles.
Damn good
and all the
job.
work. So I know your camera's off, but I appreciate you. I did not want to let you not know that. So, but now we're going to bring this thing to a close. Thank our partners one last time, which are on the right-hand side of your screen right now. First and foremost, thank you to the league, RSR here, the Next Generation Cup Series presented by Best One Tire. If you want to join this action or, at least keep up to date on everything going on RSR related at the ERL League, visit facebook.com/RSR League. Best One Tire and Service. Looking for a one-stop automotive repair and tire shop? Visit bestonetire.com to find a location nearest you. Admin Box is a system built by iRacers for iRacers to be utilized in league and hosted races by admins and race control. Visit them at adminbox.com. Blake Howell Designs. You're going to find them on Instagram there at blake.h.designs. Got some really cool schemes that he's posted, and he's got a really cool render setup too. So if you want to check out everything he paints over at iRacing, head over to his Instagram page. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See the whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, get all of your notifications just a fraction of the second faster. And you're going to do so by going to iRacingIFlag.com for the full product line. Butt Kicker, the ultimate feel from the race car with their haptic response system. Check out everything they have to offer you at thebuttkicker.com. Team Watson Racing Setups, quality professionally built setups for your asphalt oval needs. You find them at teamwatsonracing.com. Dusty Pete's Gifts and Collectibles, hobby shop with a whole lot more. So if you want to collect anything nerdy, head yourself over to dustypete's.com. And then lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee, premium coffee beans roasted just for you. Start your day the right way with coffee from Roasted Gems at roastedgems.com. And that's it, guys. Closing this thing out. And we're going to catch you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, for the Martin Sports Truck Series at the FTSR platform. Till then, stay safe. Get your nerd on.